Welcome and thank you for joining me for this very special random gaming news, where I'm gonna bring a series here in the channel where Sundays, it may not be consistently every Sunday, but Sundays I'm gonna be reviewing tech here on the channel, or not just tech, maybe even games or movies or anything like that. But Sundays are gonna be random gaming news reviews Sundays. So in this review, as you can see, I have two controllers here, an Xbox and a PS4, but the Xbox has a funny little thing coming out at the top. We'll get into that in just a minute, but before we do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button with that bell icon turned on so you can be notified of more content like this. And like I said, this Xbox controller has a funny little knob coming off the top there, and you might be wondering, well, what's that funny little knob for? Well, that actually allows this controller to be used on any platform, and that means the PlayStation, Switch, or PC. Well, these controllers can natively be used on a PC or an Xbox, especially this one. This one has the Bluetooth in it, so it can Bluetooth connect to a computer and be used that way. But with this little adapter coming out at the top here, it allows it to be used also with the Switch and the PS4, which is very nice because I don't have a Pro controller for my Switch, and this is actually a cheaper option than actually getting a Pro controller. If you have an Xbox controller lying around, I think this was like $50. Pro controller is like $60 or $70. Save yourself about $20 and get this for your Switch. I would not get this for your PS4. We'll get into that in just a moment. Couple of pros about this thing here. You do get turbo with it, so that way it allows you to then, if you would like, because what turbo is it, if you want to press this button down and have it hit a bunch of times without lifting your finger up, that's what turbo is. So it does give you that option when playing this, which is very nice when playing on stuff like the Nintendo Switch for like Animal Crossing. It allows you to chop down trees, gather rocks, or do anything like that a little bit quicker than you did before. So that's something to keep in mind there. Gives the controller turbo. Another thing that it does give it is remapping, not just with this, but you can actually remap it with an Xbox Elite controller as well. For the panels on the back, you can make those different stuff. I never really got the point of the panels. I get it. It makes it, you can put buttons back there that you wouldn't have to take your thumb off of. I get it, but just work your thumb muscles. But either or. With it here, like I said, it allows you to do turbo and button remapping with the Xbox controller. And then it's also wireless. So it gives you a wireless connection for the actual thing. I mean, it does have the actual motion sensors in there, so it does react as an actual Pro controller. It just doesn't have HD rumble. That's the only thing that this controller doesn't have for the Nintendo Switch. It's just an HD rumble. So perfect for that. And same for the PS4. It has motion controls, has all the buttons, has a funny little way to even work out the touchpad for the left and right side or center. So you guys can even, if you're interested, the user manual has all the info for that. But a couple of cons for this device here. One, for whatever reason, it did not get a lot of battery life on my PS4. It only got about 4 to 5 hours, or sorry, about 2 to 4 hours on the PS4, and about 4 to 5 hours on the Switch. So if you're getting this and you're going to be playing for like 10 to 12 hours, keep in mind you are most likely either going to have a second one of these that you can plug into your controller, or you're going to have to plug this in while you're playing, which doesn't sound like a bad thing. Just plug it in while you're playing. Most people do that. That's a pretty common thing. That brings me to con number 2 here. So I have a little charging station next to my bed that I plug on all my phones and gadgets and stuff like that into, and I plug this into it. It's fine. It shouldn't have any problems with being plugged into it. It charges other controllers off of it just fine. It's made for charging those kind of things. But when you knock it, it disconnects. So it disconnects the actual cord and then makes the controller actually disconnect from the PS4. And as I mentioned earlier, I have turbo set up with it so I can do easier things on the actual Animal Crossing game. But with the turbo setup, every time it disconnects, you have to disengage turbo. It doesn't come where it just comes, where it comes turned off. You have to turn it off if you save the turbo settings for it. So I either have to erase the turbo settings, and reset them every time that I want to play Animal Crossing, or leave them on there and turn them off when I want to play other games. I chose the second one so that way I just wouldn't have to go through all the rigmarole setting it up every single time. Well, every time it disconnects, the turbo would re-engage. I have to turn it on, which doesn't sound like a bad thing if you got, single-player games. But I recently got a PS4 Pro, and a couple of friends of mine also have a PS4 Pro. We played Destiny 2 for a couple of hours last night, and I had to plug this thing up because I was playing a little bit beforehand as well, and it started to lose charge, and it said that the controller battery was running low, so I plugged it up. And I died a few times just purely from it disconnecting and then the turbo re-engaging and not being able to slide across the ground and do my charge melee attack. So it's one of those things that, that is definitely a con if it disconnects and doesn't, go immediately over to wireless and just turns the controller off. I think it should go over to wireless, but I don't really know. I'm not an engineer. I don't really think, I don't know how all that stuff works or anything. But I just thought that was something to kind of bring up, because if you are looking into getting a PS4 Pro or PS4 and you want to use your Xbox controller over on it, this might pop up. And I don't really think that it's fitted for playing on the PS4 Pro or the PS4, just because, again, it doesn't last for whatever reason as long as it does on the Switch. And when you disconnect it while it's charging up and you're playing any kind of live service games, you will die because your controller is going to disconnect. And if you have any turbo set up or button remapping, it's going to reconfigure all that back into it. So I would get it if you're going to get it for the Switch. I would not get it if you're going to get it for an all-around console user, because I just am going to go back to using the PS4 controller versus this from my PS4. But I'm still going to use this for my Switch because I think it's really good for that. Well, thank you guys for making it all the way to the end of this video. I just wanted to give you, again, Sundays are going to be random gaming news reviews. Hope you guys did like it. Hit the like button if you did. Leave your thoughts about anything down in the comments below. Are you thinking about maybe purchasing this device? Do you want to use your Xbox controller on every platform like I do? Or are you okay with just using the controllers that those platforms give you? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, share this video to help out the channel the most. Hit the subscribe button with that bell icon turned on so you can get more content like this. Don't forget to check out that social media stuff so you can get more news that I don't usually get here on the channel. And as always, I have been Tasty. This has been Random Gaming News, and have a wonderful fucking gaming night.